My name is James Bennick. I'm the athletic director of Leavenworth High School. This is year 5 now as AD there. I've been there 18 years now altogether. Talk about Leavenworth a little bit. We kind of started a new endeavor this year, started a new conference, probably new United Kansas Conference this year. Ourselves, Lansing went into that together here locally. Bayshore Linwood, DeSoto High School, Turner High School, and then Shawnee Heights. So we've got 6 schools right now. It's been fun, as we kind of knew it would be competitively. We've had a lot of very close games and close matchups along the way this fall, which is competitively always a fun thing. You don't like to see blowout games because they're really just not fun for competition, not fun for coaches or kids to be a part of. So it's been a fun start and looks to be, a lot of fun down the road to continue. We're going to be expanding here in a couple of years and adding hopefully a couple new schools by the 2020 year, and it'll be a lot of fun. Talk about this fall a little bit. We've been 5A for several years. Acacia reclassified this year. What they were looking to do is try to create a more equal and equitable balance with student ratios. So they actually increased Class 6A to 36 schools instead of 32. Also increased Class 5A to 36. Unfortunately, we were kind of right on that fence the last few years, and with that reclassification, it bounced us up this year to Class 6A by a whopping 7 students. So we are the smallest Class 6A, but that's all right. We've embraced it. It is what it is. I think we'll drop back to 5A next year as we look at enrollment numbers and predictions as we move forward. So that affected everybody this fall, and it will affect everybody this year because everybody will move immediately to Class 6A competition, except for football because they work on different 2-year rotations. So they're still going to compete at Class 5A this postseason here that starts this week, but everybody else jumped to 6A. Golf this fall had a decent start, had a lot of soggy conditions, had a lot of cancellations and reschedules, so it was kind of ugly for golf. We had a couple of girls that had some decent years, had a freshman that actually came aboard and has really made some strides in the world of golf. And we had one girl fall, I think just 3 or 4 strokes short of qualifying for the Class 6A state tournament. Golf in Class 6A is very difficult. I think the state champion this year was a scratch golfer. I think was actually with the wet conditions shot maybe 1 or 2 over par to win a state title, which is phenomenal for those of you that actually golf. That's ridiculous for a 17-year-old kid to be shooting that score. Tennis this year, we had a really good returning doubles team that last year in Class 5A were a regional champion doubles team. This year in Class 6A, I think they finished 3rd in their regional, went on to state and won a couple of matches at state, so we're certainly proud of them. One of those happens to be a senior, so unfortunately we'll get to see her back next year. One of them is an underclassman, so we'll get one back, which is fun, exciting for tennis. Volleyball had kind of an up and down fall. A lot of talented kids and a lot of really, really close competition. I know Coach Miller saw a lot because his daughter was part of our team this year. And I will say this, they battled night in, night out. And it was unbelievable to see the competition that they played and how close they played a lot of those schools and just fell a little bit short a lot of times. We went into our regional and played Blue Light Northwest and lost 25-23, 25-23. So that's how close they were to breaking through to potentially be on the other side of that win column a lot of nights. I will say this about volleyball too, with our new conference, probably arguably one of the best conferences out there for volleyball. Lansing has been ranked in the top 10 all year. I think they're the number 2 seed in the state tournament. DeSoto, I think, is ranked number 4 or 5. Shawnee Heights, year in, year out, has been very, very good. I know they were ranked in the top 10 all year long. So we've had three schools ranked in the top 10 virtually all year long in our conference. So we are a very loaded conference in the world of volleyball. Cross country finished regionals last weekend. We have 2 state qualifiers, one on the boys' side, one on the girls' side. Danny Bonneman on the boys' side, and then Sarah Wagner on the girls' side. Very strong runners for us. Both seniors, great model student athletes. Superb kids. They'll run out of the always tough Rimrock this weekend for the state competition. Football will start playoffs this week, and a little story about football. We've had a tough fall. I know Coach Litchell was here a couple weeks back and kind of talked. We've had kind of a tough fall, kind of young, had a tough run. But sometimes you win when you lose. So last week we lost, put us in a tie with Topeka West. So with Acacia rule, it just goes back to a coin flip in ties. We don't really look at points differentials, or we don't really look at common wins and losses or anything like that. It goes to a coin flip. We lost the coin flip. As a result of losing that coin flip, Topeka West now gets Mill Valley, who's won the state title 2 of the last 3 years. And as losing that coin flip, we get to go to Schlegel. And not to underestimate Schlegel because they're a good football team, but definitely something that we would look at as a matchup that's definitely much more favorable to us than going to Mill Valley. So good thing for us. We'll be heading down there Friday night and see if we can't get through the first round of playoffs and then move on to hopefully play the winner of Olathe West or Washington. So got a pretty good draw in the world of football despite having a tough fall. The last fall sport, excited about, is our boys soccer team. They've had really their best season they've had in school history. I'll let Coach Olson talk more about them here shortly, but I'm super proud to have him on our staff and be at the helm here at head coach. Former student athlete of mine, Leavenworth High School graduate, a great young man who is also a Spire as well. Came here to the University of St. Mary and finished his soccer playing collegiate career here. So kind of a local guy who's doing some great things with our boys soccer program this fall. Look forward to see what else they can do because they're not done yet. They won their first ever playoff game Tuesday night, and we go tonight to compete for a regional championship. And I think we've got a really good shot at going to getting that. So without further ado, I guess I'm going to get Coach Olson up here and let him talk about our boys soccer program. Thank y'all. You can't give up his playing career yet, brother, so last night's practice, what's he going to do with the guy?
Fractured my ankle. Yep.
That ankle
Trying
still
to
got
be
you.
20 again.
No, that's the right one.
Gotta get an age sometime, Coach.
Yeah. I do need to learn to hang up the boots and not fracture stuff the night before regional championships. That might be good.
Do you want a chair or are you good?
No, I'm good. I got to practice for tonight, standing for a few hours. So again, thank you, Mr. Vanek, for the warm introduction. Thank you, Spires, for having me here today. I'm Coach Brendan Olson. I'm a first-year head coach at Leavenworth High School. I'm so excited about our team. I don't even know where to begin. We have had a record that has really put us on the map, I like to think, as a community. Something that's always big is just trying to get your name out there. And a lot of people over the past 10, 20 years have really talked down about some of our programs, and it's nice to see that we're being more competitive across the board, not just in soccer, but volleyball and football as well, and some of the other sports. But luckily I get to talk about soccer. This year we had 50 goals for in our season and only 18 against. That's a high for and a low against. We also had the best record in school history so far at 10-4-1, and we got our first playoff win Tuesday night, 5-1 over Wyandotte, which was actually a pretty good school. They came out and kind of surprised us a little bit. I know the score didn't really end there, but we kind of put on a couple late to really put it out of reach. But I think some of the things that separate us from some of the other schools is just, clear expectations and how we're going to run our program year round. Coming into the off season and saying this is the formation we're going to do, this is how we're going to execute things. Clearly setting guidelines for athletes and making sure that they're accountable and stick to them. And really that's had a lot of success, not just for me as a coach, but also some of the young men. Granted, we are in a new conference. We had 3 guys named to first team, all-team conference. We had 3 named to second team, and we had 4 honorable mentions there too. So when you can take 10 out of your 11 starters and, the league recognizing them as all-league players, some of the best kids in the conference, and hopefully in the state here in a couple of weeks, it's a real highlight. One athlete I want to speak highly about, Andrew West, he's our junior. He was also named co-player of the year for our conference. And it's really nice to see that we can take things that start 3-4 months ahead of time over the summer and just in our off-season program and really apply them to the program and see what happens as it goes and the success that comes from that. But I think a big part of that stems from just motivating those kids too. I think a lot of the time as a coach when we're talking to our athletes, what gets in the way sometimes is personal walls and expectations, where they see themselves and how they see themselves, and rising up above it and really digging in as a coach and helping them to achieve what they never even thought was possible. And I think that's really helped make us a successful program at Leavenworth and compete in our conference really well. Outside of that, it also sets us up hopefully for years to come. We have a lot of returning guys for next year. We had the most freshmen come out this year, and we retained every one of them. So we have 18 freshmen returning next year. We have an entire starting midfield and forward class returning for our starters on the varsity side. And we're really looking to make Leavenworth County a powerhouse in soccer and just build the program from there. But for me, some of the other things that I made changes with that when I talk with other coaches really seems to make a difference in our program was adding things like a study hall, talking about what are you going to do after the game. Because although I haven't learned from my injury, you do have to hang up the cleats, eventually. But really focusing on, where do you want to go to school? Where do you want to study? What do you want to do? Because I think being a community member is just as important as a student athlete. And for us, I'm very excited to see so far that we have one of the highest GPAs on team history as well, and some ACT scores that are improving, and we just all around have some great athletes that hopefully will become Spires soon, some of them, and we can just move on from there. Other than that, I can't really talk much more about our program. If you guys ever get a chance to, you should come see us. We're definitely a great school to watch, I think, in any sport, and we're going to compete with everybody.
What's your upcoming schedule then?
So from here, we play Olathe East tonight. So we're going to go out to ODAC and take them on for the regional championship. If we win that game, we will most likely play Olathe Northwest for the state quarterfinals on Tuesday next week. If we somehow lose, then we will be done with our season. If Olathe Northwest loses though and we win, we will be hosting the state quarterfinals here at Leavenworth High School. So that would be a first time ever in school history as well.
Awesome. Any other questions? All right, thanks.
Thank you guys.
You mentioned a couple other schools in the UKC that maybe added. Is there any news on that? Or
Spring Hill has given us a verbal commitment right now for the 2020 year, that next football rotation.
Okay.
Spring Hill is just south of Olathe there, and they're getting all that growth of Olathe heading that way still. They'll be a 5A school probably next year with all the growth they've got going on. I talked to the athletic director at Topeka Seaman just 2 days ago. He actually said, going into this deal, they had a brand new superintendent a couple years ago that didn't want to consider anything. But now that he's been there a couple of years, he and the board have been having discussions, and they,
okay,
in his mind, sound like they're much more open to potential coming to the league as well in a couple of years. So.
okay. I've officiated at Spring Hill. They got a lot of new things going on. New football field and nice and shiny buildings. So yeah, very nice school south of Olathe. But all right, next up we'll have USM soccer. We'll start with Coach Seaver.
Hi, I'm Justin Seaver, head women's soccer coach here at St. Mary. Appreciate the big crowd coming out. First of all, it's pretty cool to see BJ up here, Coach Olson. I'm sorry, you're all grown up, but it's really cool to see you kind of like just seeing you up here, just your maturity level and stuff like that. Because I remember you from way back in the day. You were always more mature on the field and stuff, but it's just kind of cool to see you all grown up and having your own program and doing success. So congrats to you guys. Hope you guys can go get a title tonight. I know it's a big time, so we're pulling for you guys. A little bit about our season. So we're down to the end right now. We got 2 games left in conference. We are in a big. We're pretty much in the playoffs now since our last game against McPherson. We kind of control our own destiny to an extent. If we can win out these next 2 games, including Senior Day on Saturday against Bethany, and then go on the road against Avalon on Tuesday, we should be crashing the conference tournament for the 2nd year in a row. Expectations were pretty high for us this year, like just in our program, because last year was our first time to make the tournament since 2012. You know, we had a competitive game against the number 14 team in the nation last year when we bowed out, but hasn't quite gone as planned this year. Biggest reason is just goal scoring has been has been tough for us. Other than last night, you know, we usually score anywhere between 0 and 2 goals a game, which keeps you competitive because our defense is working really well. But unfortunately, we found ourselves on the losing end of a number of games. So our record isn't very shiny at 4-12, but we do have 3 conference wins, which, like I said, we're 1 point out of the playoffs against a team we hold the tiebreaker over. So hoping for a couple good runs these next 2 days, these next 2 matches to get us over the hump. We're very senior led this year. 3 of my starters on my back line are seniors. I got another senior that is our leading goal scorer, Justine Brown. She's been our leading goal scorer the last 2 seasons. We've really kind of relied on her, and she has come through for us in a number of games. Unfortunately, has a little bit of bad luck in the finishing department because she's had some great opportunities. But looking at our results, like I said, even with 12 losses, we got 6 1-0 losses, which goes back to that, you know, we got to do better in the goal scoring department. But it just shows that we're competitive in every single game. One of those losses too is to the Kansas Wesleyan, who is leading the conference right now. They just knocked off Ottawa, who just knocked off Oklahoma Wesleyan, which is the returning champ from last year. So it just shows you like how close we are. I don't think we're necessarily missing any pieces, but just a little bit, maybe a little bit of luck and a little bit of just some fine tuning around the goal, we could be having another great season like last year. Trying to think what else. Like I said, so other than just on the soccer field, like I said, we are battling for that playoff spot, which we're excited about. We would love another shot at one of those top 3 teams in conference. We think we have better game plans this time around. But like Coach Olson was saying, bigger picture stuff. Of my 6 seniors, 5 of them are academic All-Americans, which means you hold over a 3.5. And the one that isn't over a 3.5 is actually graduating in 2 years. So, I give her a pass for having to take double the course load the last couple of years, including in high school. So while we're not necessarily turning the heads that we want to do on the soccer field, these girls are all going on to do bigger, better things in life afterwards. So we're very excited for them. We have one girl that's going to be going home to Colorado. She's applying for some schools to go into the psychology department. Got another girl that's looking at schools all over the country, that same kind of field, looking to be a counselor. And I got another girl that's applying for med schools and stuff like that. And then we got a nurse that's going to be graduating as well. So we recruit true student athletes, and that's kind of what we pride ourselves on our program on. Our girls generally are one of the top, if not the top, academic team on campus. And I don't take any credit for that. I just recruit smart girls, and they go to class and do the right thing. So we're very proud of this senior class, and they will definitely be missed.
Questions?
Yeah, questions. I'm not sure what else to tell.
That's all right.
My second coach's corner, but
Yeah. Questions for Coach Seaver?
Coach, you had your hand up?
Me?
I thought I saw your hand up.
No.
Who do you guys have left?
So we have Bethany at home on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Yeah, I heard we're having the coaches. What do we call it? What is it? Just the
They always
coaches.
have those things when we can't partake.
Hey, you can partake during my game, and I'll hang out during your game. So we have Bethany at home. They started off with a really strong non-conference record. They're sitting in 7th place in the conference. It should be a good matchup, honestly, on paper. We watched them play. They got a lot of kids from California. They're pretty fast, pretty experienced. But like I said, I think we're pretty strong defensively. We have changed our formation 3 times and our philosophy all year to try to adjust for our lack of goal scoring. And we think we have a game plan in. It worked out yesterday. I mean, we weren't playing as strong of an opponent, but we saw 8 different girls get on the scoreboard last night, which is something that's just big for confidence. And we hope these next 2 days we can just continue that. And then after them, we travel to Avila, play noon on a Tuesday, which should be kind of interesting. They don't have lights, so that'll be our last little trip of the year. And yeah, then bigger picture, hopefully, if we can get these 2 wins, then playoffs will start next week on Friday. Best case scenario will probably be we would be the 8th seed, I think, is how I think it would play out, which means we would travel. If it ended today, we would travel to Kansas Wesleyan, but they still play Oklahoma, and the title's kind of up for grabs right now. So we'll
Is it Oklahoma Wesleyan and Kansas Wesleyan are at the top?
Right now, it's Kansas Wesleyan and then Ottawa. Kansas Wesleyan, Ottawa, and then Oklahoma Wesleyan.
Okay.
KW has 1 tie. Ottawa and Oklahoma Wesleyan have a loss each, but Ottawa beat Oklahoma Wesleyan, so they win the tiebreaker.
Okay.
So if Oklahoma beats KW Saturday, then Ottawa would win the title in theory. So then we would be traveling to Ottawa.
Good.
A lot of musical chairs.
Yes,
Yes, we've had upwards of 3 this year. Oklahoma Wesleyan started at 12, got as high as 9. I think they're down to like 15 or 16 now. Ottawa started at 14, and I think as soon as they took their first loss, our conference has a hard time getting the respect I think some of our teams deserve, and they got knocked down to receiving votes. And then Kansas Wesleyan has been receiving votes since about after the first month of the season. So yeah, when we played all 3, they were either in the top 25 or receiving votes. And we also played the number 2 team in the nation this year, which was quite the challenge. But we won't talk final score, but it was 2-1 at one point, and then it was 3-1 at half, which was pretty cool. That showed that we were at least competitive for a little. When we played Benedictine, just our non-conference schedule was a little overloaded this year, which I think while it didn't help the record-wise, it's made sure we were competitive as we hit conference.
Anything else?
All right.
bring up Coach Mazetas. Lansing couldn't make it today, but they will have a start football. Basically, it's the first round of playoffs for them too, right? Yeah, for 5A as well. So they play at home against St. James tomorrow night.
Their soccer coach is an Aspire alum as well.
And their soccer coach is Aspire alum as well. So that's pretty cool. Good, tight connections here today. That's
And they're
awesome to
state
see.
volleyball this weekend too.
State volleyball, they are the 2 seed or?
2 seed in 5A, so they'll
Yeah.
play Newton. I can't remember what they're playing. They'll play pool play tomorrow, and then
Okay.
if they win or come second, they'll play Saturday.
So Saturday will be the championship rounds, and I think they fully expect to be playing Saturday. So, as Coach Vanek said, the volleyball in UKC was loaded. So, should be a good showing for Lansing this weekend. So, all right, Coach Mazetas.
Hi, this is my first Coach's Corner. I was gone last year. Incidentally, you talk about Aspire alum. We also have Aspire alum at Atchison High School, coaching their soccer program. At Seaman in Topeka. So, yeah, we're all over the place. I'm Derek Mazetas. I'm the head men's soccer coach here at St. Mary. This is my 14th year here. Been here a while. I got a joke, if I may, that we can start off with. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies! Anyway.
Hey, that's better than mine.
Dang, one up. Showing them up. I can. Do you know where I got that from? A third grader. So, anyway, so yeah, this year has been kind of an interesting one. Those of you who have been here know that last fall I was gone. Had some personal things going on, and so I really didn't get to coach my team. And so this year I've got 30 guys, brought in 20 new guys, and essentially 27 of the 30, this is my first year working with them. So there's a lot of getting to know each other, a lot of philosophy buying in, et cetera, et cetera. 16 of my new guys are freshmen. And you guys know how 18-year-olds work. And you get 16 of them, it's always a struggle. And so we've really been, essentially this year has kind of been a rebuilding year for us, building towards the future. We have generally either 6 or 7 starters are freshmen on our team right now, and usually 2 or 3 are sophomores. So the youth is there, and hopefully the wins are coming. This year has just been a real learning experience for a lot of them. When you look at our season, we had a stretch there where, well, first of all, we played 4 nationally ranked teams this season. And then Oklahoma Wesleyan is 3 points out of being number 1 in the country. They're number 2, just three votes away. Those are the things that we've got 18-year-olds playing against. When we play Oklahoma Wesleyan, we're playing against 23, 24-year-old Serbians, Brazilians that have grown up just, that's all they did. Whereas, typically our guys are the multi-sport athletes growing up, where they're playing baseball in the summer and soccer in the fall and basketball in the winter and all that good stuff. So, that being said, one of my goals the last few years has been trying to keep a lot of the local talent local, and that's very difficult, seeing as how we've got 8 schools in the Kansas City area at least that we're competing with. So the talent tends to get a little watered down, but from the Kansas side of the Kansas City area, we have 10 freshmen and 2 sophomores that, we've got 3 guys from Leavenworth High that are freshmen right now that are contributing greatly. We've got a couple guys from Baser, a couple guys from Gardner, a couple guys from Olathe North, and so a couple guys from Sumner. And so, we're on our way to that.
It's hard to get the top ones right now, the top players in the area that are largely considered the top because of all the competition in the area, but we're certainly working at that. So with our team being so young right now, still looking locally to add some local talent, but our focus I think right now is going to go to a little more national scale search for some junior college guys to kind of help with that youth and hopefully contribute to the leadership that we so need right now on our team. We got a lot of guys just kind of looking for direction, and you guys know as coaches that you can give the direction, but it's going to be up to their peers to make sure they stay in that direction. So this year we've lost. We haven't had the best season in the world, but we have been competitive. Our first 7 games of conference, we either tied or lost by 1 goal. 2 of them in overtime. So we are, I like to say, a bounce away from 4 or 5 wins in conference that I think in the future will come with a little more experience. But I'm excited looking forward. I'm excited at what we got coming up. I'm excited at the prospects of this group gelling more, coming together.